Hello aspirants, I'm Indumati Karthikeyan from Inkar IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the 11th February current affairs. The topic taken from the Delhi edition. The topic is India as a bridge between the global north and south. This topic comes under our main GS2 effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the India as a bridge between the global north and south. What is India's unique position? What is the key areas where India acts as a bridge? What are the global north and global south? What were the earlier used classification system and world system approach? First world, second world, third world countries and world system approach. What is led to the emergence of the global north and south? What are the south-south cooperations? What are the roadblocks to the development of the global south? These are the things we are going to discuss today. First of all, why it is in the news. India ties emerge as a crucial player in bridging the global north developed countries and global south developing countries by leveraging in economic growth, diplomatic leadership and also strategic autonomy. India's unique position. India stands that is a economic growth, the world's fifth largest economy, growing at 7% annually, and also there is a geopolitical balancing, strong ties between the US, EU, and also deeply engaged in Africa, Latin America, and also Asia. The leadership in global south actually represent the developing nation in forums like G20, BRICS, and also the UN. There is a key areas of where India acts as a bridge for the north and global south. First of all, there is a diplomatic leadership. There is a presidency and BRICS expansion. The G20 presidency, that is India is positioned itself as a voice for the global south, emphasizing the inclusive growth, climate action and also digital infrastructure. BRICS expansion, that is advocated for more developing nations like Argentina, UAE and also Egypt to join, making a very strong counterweight in Western dominance as India that assumed that G20 presidency, which is a external affairs minister of India, that iterated the country's role of the voice in the south, global south, that is otherwise underrepresented in the global forums. First of all, you must know what is a global north and global south. There is a global north referred to the loosely, that is countries like US, Canada, Europe, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, while global south includes countries like Asia, Africa, South America. Some of the south countries like India, China, and also emerged economically in the last few decades. So these are the main classification of the north and south. So there is a earlier there is many classification we can see, that is a first world, second world and also third world countries. First of all, there is a first, second and third world countries referred to the countries associated with the Cold War era, that alliances of US and USSR and also non-aligned countries respectively. And also there is a world system approach, that is it emphasized the interconnected perspective of looking the world politics. There was a three major zones of protection: core, peripherals and semi-peripherals. First of all, the core zones are that reap profits, being the owners of the cutting edge technologies, that countries like US and Japan, and also peripheral zones, that is on the other hand engage a less sophisticated protection, that is more labor intensive. And the third is semi peripheral zone, in the middle, including the countries like India and Brazil. And eastern western countries, that is the western countries generally signify the greater levels of economic development and also prosperity among the people, and eastern countries considered as being the process of the transition. And also there is a many emergence in the global north and south. First of all, there is a non-feasibility and earlier classification. In the past Cold War world, the first world, say third world classification was no longer feasible, because when the communist USSR disintegrated in the year of 1991, USSR can be separated and disintegrated. Most countries had no choice, but they ally in some levels with the capitalist US, the only remaining global superpower. The East-West binary was also seen as a often perpetuating the stereotypical thinking, that is a African and Asian countries, and also there's a categorizing of incredible diverse countries into a monolith was felt to be too simplistic. There is a commonalities in global south countries. Most of the common global south countries share a history of colonization. So the region has mostly remained under the represented in international forums such as exclusion from the permanent membership in the UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council. The exclusion is seen as a something that contributes towards the slower growth of global south, where the initiatives, which is a South-South Cooperation Global BRICS Forum, that is a Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa Forum, and IBSA Forum, that is India, Brazil, and South Africa Forum. So, International Day of South-South Cooperation, originally it is observed on the December 19. So, the day of the United Nations Day, the South-South Cooperation was moved to the September 12 in 2011. That United Nations General Assembly adopted a plan of action in 1978 to promote the implement technical cooperation that among developing countries. In South-South cooperation, India's hold a strong position. First of all, they can do the proposal on TRIPS waiver, the trade-related aspects of the intellectual property right waiver, first proposed by the India South Africa in 2020, would involve a temporary global easing the intellectual property right on COVID-19 vaccine, the treatment to enable them to produce on our far larger scale and also support the global health and a way out of the pandemic. Agreement on COVID-19 vaccine, drugs, therapies, and also related technologies. Vaccines Maitri campaign is an important thing that in 2021, India began a holistic historic campaign that called a Vaccine Maitri initiative, which is accordant with the neighborhood of the first policy. And also many roadblocks still there. First of all, there is an issue of green energy, a fund that is a global north countries higher contribution towards the global emission. They are neglecting to pay the funding for the green energy, for which the ultimate suffers or the least entities for lesser developed countries. And also there's the impact of the Russian-Ukraine war. The Russian-Ukraine war severely affected at least the developed countries' LDCs, aggravating the concerns relating to food, energy, and finance, thereby threatening the development of the prospects of the LDCs. And also China's interference. There's a China is increasingly making inroads in the global south and also through the Belt and Road Initiative for developing infrastructure. However, it is still questionable and also wealthy whether the BRI will be a win-win situation for both countries and also both parties. It will focus only on the China's property and also US hegemony. That is a world now considered to be a multipolar by many, but still it is US alone will dominate the international affairs and also inadequate access of the resource. The global north-south divergence have been historically characterized by major gaps in the access of the resources required for the crucial development outcomes, and also industrialization, for example, has been skewed in the favor of the advanced economy since the early 1960s, and the major evidence of global convergence was found in this regard. Impact of COVID-19. There is a COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the already existing divides, not only on the COVID, they face different challenges dealing with the initial phase of the pandemic, but social and macroeconomic implication being faced the socio, and India can be the voice of global south. Championing the global south today would remain more active Indian engagement and all messy regional politics within the developed country. So India is eager to become a bridge between the north and the south by focusing on practical outcomes rather than the returning to old ideological battles. If India can translate the ambition into effective policy, there will be no contradiction between the simultaneous pursuit, universal and particular goals. Thank you so much.